Hi, and welcome to my October Meals Across Miles meal prep. Tonight, I'm prepping meals from our Comfort Food 10 meal kit. This kit includes 10 entree recipes and 4 side dishes. Here is the recipe book that you get. On the cover is a delicious meal that is cheesy pizza sliders, but I'm not making that tonight. We're going to try a few different recipes, and then if you decide to get this, you can make that when you have your kit. So in the kit, you get these products. You get a huge bottle of the Making Magic chicken seasoning, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But this is giant. See how big it is? Huge. And then you also get the cheesy pizza warm dip mix. This box has 2 packets in it. So you're going to make it for the recipe that's on the cover of the recipe booklet. And then you're going to make it a really good meatball pasta skillet meal. You also get something a little different, jalapeno honey cheese ball mix. And this one, again, 2 packets in the box. And we'll be using one of the packets in the meals I make tonight. You get a bag of our perfectly potato cheddar soup. It's the only soup we have year round because all you need to do is add water. We do not make a soup in the meal kit. We use it to make a recipe I'll talk about a little bit later. And then you get 2 bottles of delicious sauces, the spiced apple berry sauce mix. There, can you see it? There. And then the sesame ginger sauce mix. This one I already had a bottle of that was opened, so I didn't open the one that came in the kit, and that's why this is like empty because I used it all, and we will talk about what I used it on. And then whenever you purchase one of our 10 meal kits, you get a free dessert. And in this kit, you get the peanut butter brownie mix. All you do for the peanut butter brownies is you add heavy whipping cream and creamy peanut butter. In the background, you can hear my dog. Isn't he great? What I did yesterday was I made the peanut butter dessert mix, the brownie mix, and I saw a little recipe we had on our website, and I made it into Halloweeny. So this is like all the sugar, all the chocolate, all the richness. It's really cute, and I'm going to show you what's left because we have some left. Everybody didn't eat it all. So you have the brownies, and then on top of the brownies, you have chocolate frosting, and then you have little candy corn and the pumpkins. And I also put Reese's peanut butter cup miniatures, and then the googly eyes because they're hysterical. I might start putting them on everything I cook between now and Halloween. So check that out. Very easy. A child could make it. And so those are the products. That's the Halloween dessert. Super easy. You can order the kit on my website at tastefullysimple.com/web/bhamel. I also put a link in the comments. When you get your kit and you want to prepare the meals to make your life easier, make sure, as always, to do these things. 1, open the box right away and make sure there was no damage in the packing because that happens sometimes. And if there is, the product can be replaced. 2, you want to review the recipes because what you can do is you can decide on any changes you want to make the meals to your family's taste. And then you can also see what you need to get from the grocery store and what you might already have on hand. If you're going to do meal prep, you always need Ziploc bags, gallon, and quart. If you want to do it sustainable, you could use washable, reusable bags, and I think you could use like plastic containers. It's all up to what you prefer. Then when you're ready to start, open up all the Well, first off, when you're ready to start, take everything out and make sure you actually have everything you need, that you didn't forget anything at the grocery store. And then also open the jars and bottles so you don't have to mess with that when you're ready to start prepping. And then we're ready to go. So there are some meals in this meal kit that you making magic chicken for. That's something that we have this giant jar, specifically for is to make magic chicken. You can also make magic pork. You could also make magic beef, because what you do is you take this seasoning, like about, I used 2 capfuls of this, which is bigger than the 2 tablespoons. Maybe it's like 3 tablespoons. I don't know. A couple capfuls of this. And then I used reduced sodium chicken broth, and I put that in the crock pot with 3 pounds-ish of a boneless chicken. And then I let that cook overnight. So last night, put it in, went to bed. In the morning, I shredded the chicken. Like, as you can see here, this is frozen. I just took it out to show you. And then you can use it to make recipes. We are going to make 2 recipes with the making chicken. And I think there's one or 2 more in this book that we're not going to make. So I took my dog for a walk today so he would try and not be obnoxious during this live stream, but you can probably hear him. So he's still pretty young, and he's kind of mad that I had like all this meat around and he got none of it. So the first meal I'm going to tell you about today is the sesame garlic chicken wraps. For this meal, what you do is you add half a cup of sesame garlic sauce. I'm sorry, sesame ginger sauce, not garlic. There's garlic in it, but there's definitely ginger. So you take half a cup of this and you mix it with mayonnaise, and you mix it with 3 cups of the prepared magic chicken. And then to that, you add broccoli slaw and cut up red bell peppers, or green or orange or yellow. The recipe actually calls for mini peppers, but I didn't have any of those on hand, and I did have a red pepper that needed to be used, so I used that, and cucumber. So you take the mix that you have here. This is the making chicken, which is chicken seasoned with this, which is heavy on the onion and garlic, awesome, and a little bit of mayonnaise and a bunch of sesame ginger sauce. You mix that together, and then you add in the vegetables so that you have this nice looking, it's like a salad, but we're going to put it in a wrap. You could also have this as a cold salad if you didn't want to use a wrap. You could also mix it with rice or with pasta of your choice. And then what also the recipe calls for is you can add chow mein noodles to it for some crunch. The recipe does not call for my favorite item to add to anything that's a cold salad, which is scallions. So there aren't any scallions in here, but I would highly recommend it. The next time I make it, I will add scallions. So you mix that together. And see it? And then you put it in a giant spinach wrap. See, it's as big as a plate. A burrito size spinach wrap. You could use low carb, no carb, keto, whatever, or regular. This is regular. You just put the mixture right in the middle. And then you wrap it up. And the wrapping is actually not too hard. I always thought I was terrible at making burritos, but it turns out I was trying to wrap with too small of a tortilla. And that's why I could never manage to make it look like it looks when you eat out. So here it is, burrito. And then or, sesame ginger wrap. And then here it is. The recipe prepared 6 of these. And what I did was, to make my life easier, is I made the rest a couple hours ago so I could eat before I did this live stream. So I wouldn't be starving during the live stream. And so people wouldn't bug me about what there was to eat. So what there was to eat at my house was delicious brownies and the sesame ginger wrap, which you could have, with any side dish you wanted. I didn't even have a side dish. It was plenty as it is. Now, next up, I have another meal that we make with the Making Magic chicken. And this one is like so retro. We're talking 1970s rotary dial telephone. Maybe you have a cassette player. Probably have an 8-track player. Super old school. And that is cream chicken and biscuits. So that meal, what you do is you take the magic chicken again. What I did was I just put it straight into a Ziploc bag so I don't have to mess with it anymore. So there's the magic chicken portion of it. Because this one I am going to freeze. I'm not sure exactly which day I'm making this, but I have everything to make it. So we put this in a bag, magic chicken's in a bag ready to go. And then to this, we're going to add the recipe again. If you watched my live streams before, I like to add more vegetables than it says to, and I like peas. So this recipe calls for half a cup of peas, but we're doing a whole cup because I like them and they're yummy. So obviously peas very popular in old retro recipes from the 70s. So the peas go in the bag with our magic chicken, and then we are going to take and we put in a separate bag the heavy whipping cream. So for this recipe, use half a cup of heavy whipping cream. And I got my measuring cup out. And here's a nice thing. So this recipe calls for the heavy whipping cream, and so do the peanut butter brownies. The peanut butter brownies need 1 1/4 cup, and this recipe needs half a cup. So it almost perfectly uses a pint. And otherwise, aside from these recipes from Tastefully Simple, I don't use whipping cream. So it's nice to have, first of all, it was nice to find just a pint, because last time I could only find a quart of whipping cream, and then boom, boom, 2 recipes, and I'm done with that. And then to the heavy whipping cream, you add 1 tablespoon of Making Magic chicken seasoning. You can always add a little bit more if you want. It's only going to taste good. And we add that to the bag, and then you freeze this all together, and then when you're ready to cook it, you defrost it, and you're going to use the perfectly potato cheddar soup mix with this bag. So you can put it all together in the freezer. That way nobody will make like you're gone for an afternoon and you come home and somebody made the soup, and now you have this meal and your soup's gone. So now what do you do, right? So you can put it all in the Ziploc bag and stick it in the freezer. The only other thing you need for when you're ready to make it is the biscuits, grand biscuits. So you're going to cook this according to the directions, and then you're just going to ladle it over the biscuits. I got generic Albertson / Jewel brand biscuits, but you could make your own or whatever you prefer. And then, so those are our 2 magic chicken recipes. And now we're going to make the jalapeno cheese stuffed chicken. So my husband said he wants to avoid carbs. So if you Well, hopefully he won't be too ironclad to that, because people who don't eat carbs are usually cranky. So, what I thought was, for dinner tomorrow, we're going to have jalapeno stuffed chicken breast, which is a recipe in this meal kit. And then I will just have that ready to go with just your basic tossed salad, or maybe green beans, because I also have green beans. So for this one, I wanted to make it less messy for me. So what I did was, earlier I put together all of the jalapeno stuffed chicken except for one, so I could show you just how to, how it goes, and then the rest of the work is already finished. The directions say to take each of these chicken breasts and to wrap them individually in plastic wrap to freeze them. But I'm making this for dinner tomorrow, so I'm not going to wrap them any further. There's 6 here, and then I'm going to add one more. The recipe says to use 5 to 6 ounce boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So the ones that they have at the store, I don't know, they're huge, so I cut them smaller. So it's like 2 chicken breasts, but actually make 6 chicken breasts. And so what you do is you take a packet of jalapeno honey cheese ball mix, 1 packet, 1 container of cream cheese, mix it together. I use low-fat cream cheese, which is actually easier to mix, makes my life easier. And then you take the chicken breast, and then you stuff the chicken, like you make a little pocket in the chicken breast, and then you stuff it with the cream cheese. And then to make it more decadent, more rich, more of a fancy dinner, something you might get at a restaurant, you wrap the chicken in a bacon. The recipe calls for 2 slices of bacon. I had pretty big pieces of bacon that I got from the store, so I only used 1 in the rest. But for the demonstration right here, you can see I used 2. It's up to you. How much do you like bacon? You decide. And then you put that in the freezer or the refrigerator, and you're ready to go for dinner. Oh, it says, and the nice thing is you just put it on a pan, bake it for 35-40 minutes, and there's a recipe in here to make roasted broccoli. So you just cut up some broccoli, put a little olive oil, shake on some of the Making Magic chicken seasoning that you have, bake that in the oven, and then you have that right with your chicken, and it's a like really low carb but very rich dinner. So yay for that. And then onward from here, I have a couple of recipes that actually are very autumnal. They contain apples and spiced apple berry sauce. How delicious. So the first one we are going to make is the sweet potato chicken and sausage skillet. Now, for this recipe, I got chicken sausage instead of regular sausage, and then I had pork chops that were boneless pork chops. So I cut up a couple boneless pork chops in lieu of the chicken breasts, because I had used up all the defrosted chicken making the magic chicken and the jalapeno honey chicken. So for this one, it's sweet potato chicken and sausage skillet. And so what I did was, here's another tip. If you're gonna prep these recipes to go in the freezer, you can cut up the meat and then put it straight into, and the vegetables, and put them straight into the Ziploc bags. You can skip the part of putting them in a bowl and then in the bags. So first I have, this is the chicken sausage and the pork chops. They're cut up. The pieces of pork are about the size of a quarter. And then to this, all I want to do is add 1 tablespoon of the Making Magic chicken seasoning, and I usually heat it. And the recipe calls for 3/4 of a pound of boneless, skinless chicken thigh. And so instead, I have used pork chops because they were cheaper and they were defrosted. And then I got this, because it was on sale, chicken and apple sausage. So it's like triple apple. It's apple on apple on apple. So you have the chicken, sausage, and the Making Magic chicken seasoning. And then in another bag, you're going to put the vegetables, which are sweet potatoes or yams. And I just have these like this so you can see the size. Then cut up apple. I leave on the skins unless somebody tells me I really have to take them off. It's just a lot of good flavor there. And then a little bit of pepper. So again, red bell pepper. So here are the apples and the red bell peppers. And then I'll just put the yams in there. It's at the store, it said these were yams, but I'm pretty sure they're sweet potatoes, not yams. So you take that, and then what we add to this bag is nothing. It's all ready as it is. And then in the last bag, what we're going to add is 3/4 of a cup of spiced apple berry sauce and 1/2 cup of the reduced sodium chicken broth. And so we'll just go ahead and use this. 1/2 cup of reduced sodium chicken broth. I don't usually buy reduced sodium chicken broth, but for these recipes I do because the seasonings do have salt in them. So you don't need double the salt. So there's still plenty of salt in this chicken broth. So the chicken broth goes in there. And then we add the spiced apple berry sauce. This is a unique sauce because you can go savory with it for dinner, or you can go dessert with it, and you could use it to top Nano's apple cake, or you could pour it over ice cream. And then if you want sweet savory, then put it on some brie, and then have that with crackers. Very festive, very delicious, and it just really has a great fall and winter flavor. Spice, you can smell it's like mulling spices plus the berry flavor, and it's very chunky, so you can see the berries and the apples right in it, so you know you're getting your money's worth. As always, no high fructose corn syrup, right? Gross, who wants that? So this is a premium sauce with a premium flavor. It's going to taste like better than you might get at some restaurants. It's just super good. And then we just freeze these all together. And then on a cold night coming up sometime soon, you can make this delicious skillet meal. And you will be so happy that you did, because it'll taste just like fall, an explosion of fall. So the bags all go together, and you put this right in the freezer. Of course, I labeled everything before we started because, as we know, it's really hard to get the dumb pens to work when you're cooking, because stuff can get wet too easily. And the last meal that I'm going to prep today has fall written all over it. They should just call it a taste of fall. But instead, it's called spiced apple and bacon stuffed pork chops. An important tip. This recipe calls for chopped bacon. If you have to chop bacon, the time to do it is when the bacon is frozen. It's like semi-freeze the bacon, then try and cut it up. Bacon's not frozen. It's hard to cut no matter what knife you use. And I know that, and I still did it anyway. Cut it when it was not frozen, and it took me probably 3 times as long. Annoying. For the spiced apple and bacon stuffed pork chops, you're going to need a stuffing mix. When you're ready to make this meal, you cook the stuffing on the stove, and then you go from there. So to prep it, to make a head, we put butter and spiced appleberry sauce in a freezer bag. So half a cup of spiced appleberry. Okay, so now we know how much spiced appleberry there is in a bottle. So there is that. And then I forgot to grab the butter out of the fridge, so let me grab that. And what I have on hand that's already opened is less than a quarter cup, but I feel like it's going to be enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in my bag. And then I already have the bacon cut up and ready to go. And when I got the pork chops ready earlier, I just stuffed them right into the bag, so I didn't have to mess with that. And my dog would really like to have these uncooked pork chops, but alas, he will not. So to the bag with the pork chops, we are going to add a cup. It says 2 teaspoons, but I'm going to do a tablespoon. 2 teaspoons just doesn't seem like enough. Because, it's onion and garlic and spices and a little red pepper. Red bell pepper. So yum. And then I'm going to mix it up a little here. Another thing this recipe calls for is blue cheese. When I went to the grocery store, they were out of blue cheese. They had all kinds of other cheeses, but not blue cheese. And the husband, he doesn't even like blue cheese. So I figured I'd just skip it. And then maybe when I make it, I'll put blue cheese on some of it. Or I was thinking I could try, I have a very sharp cheddar. And I feel like a very sharp cheddar should work just as well. Oh yeah, see, right here, it says crumbled blue cheese or shredded cheddar cheese. So I knew that, right? Okay. When you cook it, you're going to cook the stuffing, and then you're going to cook the bacon, and you're going to add to the bacon the apples in the drippings. I'm going to cook that for a few minutes. So the stuffing is here, and then the bacon is here, and then you cook it with the apples just for a little bit. And then you're going to add that to the stuffing. If you want to use the cheese, you add the cheese to the stuffing too. Then you mix it all together. Then you take the pork chops and you sear them on each side, and then you're going to put them in a greased baking pan. And what it says is, the recipe says spiced apple and bacon stuffed pork chops, but you actually just put the pork chop in the pan and put the stuffing mixture on top. You don't have to literally stuff the pork chops. If you want to, go for it. It's not going to hurt anything, but you don't have to. And then that, I mean, like, how good is that going to be? Stuffing, pork, berry flavors, spices, and apples. It's going to be awesome. So like I said, it's like fall in a dish. And I almost forgot about the apples for this one. Where am I supposed to put the apples? Apples also get a little making magic. All right. So I'm going to take the rest of my apples, because I cut up enough apples for 2 recipes. See, that's another reason why you really always want to look over your recipes before you cook, so you can see where things are connected, because most of the time in these meal kits, there's 2 recipes that have an overlap as far as ingredients, and it makes your life easier if you just have that, cut once instead of cut up an apple, then a little while later realize you need another apple, and then have to go back to the fridge, get the other apple, wash the cutting board a couple times extra. It's no good. So you could skip all that if you just do a little homework, and it saves you a lot of time. And now I have 4 delicious dinners for the next week-ish. And then we still have room in our meal plan to like have pizza Saturday night. So, there's a lot of flexibility. And that's why I like being able to do these meal kits over like Blue Apron and everything. I like Blue Apron too, but you have to use the Blue Apron right away. This gives you a little more flexibility to make changes at the last minute. I also have 5 more meals we didn't cover tonight because I want to keep these to a reasonable length. So if you get this kit, there's going to be other meals for you to try, including a sesame ginger beef stir fry, pull apart cheesy pizza sliders. That's the ones I showed you before. How good do those sound? Meatball pizza pasta skillet. I mean, yum. The meals I picked tonight, I picked because those are the ones that the husband wanted to try the most. So that's why we are going through those tonight. My daughter just walked in. Bye. And I'm almost done here. I just wanted to let you know, I really appreciate you watching. You can watch this video at any time. It was originally aired now, which is October 20th, 2021. And thank you so much for watching. You can like and you can subscribe so you get notified next month on November 17th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, as usual. I'll be preparing our 5-meal freezer to oven meal kit. Join me, because your future self will thank you, because you will have easy meals ready to go on busy holiday nights that will taste better than going to a drive-thru and be healthier than going to a drive-thru, and you'll get more food. Like, it's just a better value all around. It's good for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you next month. Bye.